Charlie, how you doing, buddy? Just a message from me and Adam at football. You've had one of these before, so we spend a lot of time after each session talking about everything. We don't talk about the matches much. We talk about each of you within the context of everything we're doing. There are a few things. I think the number one thing, I've actually put in one little drill, which is just for you and Brownie, actually. And it's that thing of playing at the back, and it's going to come more and more important when you go and play 11-a-side. When the ball comes at you, not to just go at the ball the whole time, not to go forward and commit forward, either clearing the ball or taking your first touch, which we've done loads of work with you taking on your attack foot. The next level is to start scanning the space. So when you're getting those balls, you'll see it in the drill. It's just a little example, and they're very easy balls that I'm dealing with. The thing to practice is someone really hurling the ball at you. Some are going to come at head height. Some, if you scan properly, you'll be able to get out of the way. Let them roll to your goalkeeper. Some, you'll take it on the chest down towards the right back position, because that's where the space is and you can make a good decision with the ball. Maybe you need to roll out left, pop it back to your goalkeeper, and you'll see on that video that I'll then run out and be available for a pass again. But that is the difference as you grow up. And it used to be that playing at the back was a much easier position. But now, because everybody's got to be able to play, it's much harder. It's not just about going and clearing your lines. It can be really hard because most parents who are watching football are shouting, get it out at you. But to play at that next level and to be a proper defender, it's all about that composure. So it's different scanning as a midfielder, but very much the same rules are applying. You're going, where's the space? Where can I take my first touch to give me a bit more room? Can I play at line? Is the ball inside? Not, do I need to recycle? Which means start a game with the goalkeeper. We'll do bits of this because very little time in futsal, but I would love us to get into the idea of recycling and starting again and being much more patient. And we'll do a lot of that this term and a lot of rotations. I'd like you to come out of that left back position that you get comfortable in. Everybody's got like a little sweet spot where they like to hang out. That's one for you, but we'll keep pushing on that this term. But you're doing really well. You're doing the odd thing now that makes me and Adam go, whoa. Really accepting the ball on your left foot, going down that wing, taking yourself into uncomfortable positions. Really focus hard, stay with us in every session. You can just see that moments where it is knackering, and I just see as soon as you get a little bit tired that your concentration goes a bit. When you're on it and at it, you're doing absolutely brilliantly. So, and this is going on quite a bit now, but I just want to encourage you the right way, because I can see it in all the footwork drills. I can see that you can do all of it. It's just that confidence and repetition and keep going with your footwork. But you're doing a brilliant job. It's brilliant to have you in the group, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. All right, cheers, buddy. See you. Bye. We've done this loads at futsal. George's going to show us. Just move it around, George, and I'll talk through it. You can see that he's just getting used to these little movements. Out to the side to orange and then forward to blue. That one is the really difficult one. He moved his right foot forward so he can go red X. Oh, beautiful, George. Really, really can see how hard that is. It's fine. It's totally fine to lose that control. You are... It's not about whether you can or you can't do these things. I heard lots of you say, oh, I can't do that one when George goes behind and goes to the red. If he puts his right foot forward, do that difficult one for us, George. Really difficult, that movement. But my goodness, you did a brilliant job there. Lose control a bit. It's not that you can't do it, your body's just not used to it. Your body will get used to it with all that practice. But this is just so good to get your feet used to these little movements. We've just got this habit when we're practicing our football to use in movements that are big lunges, big steps, constantly moving the ball to whack it, to shoot it, to hit big passes. This is how you increase your technique. This is how you get better. These little movements, putting your body in unfamiliar situations, is how you get really good footwork. George is actually doing a brilliant job here. But just go at the speed that's good for you. This is so good. I would do it over and over again. Have a little go on your less favourite foot, George.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah. Just going to get stronger and stronger doing this. It's a balance, really. All about that standing foot and that balance. But this is so good. If there's only one exercise that you do when you're on your own, this is the one that I choose. Practice over and over again. That's fantastic on your weak foot. Really, really good. Thank you, George, but please do practice this one. We'll come back to it again and again in our warm-ups to get our footwork really sharp. Well done, George. So another one from our futsal warm-up. We love doing this. Just a really simple, as if George is going to play the pass. So it's very similar to that L-shaped movement, but this time I'm here. He's going to look like he's going to play a pass to me, but he's going to pull the ball back towards himself. And yeah, let's have a look at what that looks like. Really nice, a good sudden stop. Really got to look like you're selling that pass to me. If he's super confident, he can look at me when he's doing it, but do it slowly when you're doing that. Yeah, love that. Really nice. Slippy old wet December day that we're on, so it's even harder doing it outside here, but really nice. Just practice that and make sure you practice it with your weaker foot. When you feel really confident, you can put much more force into it to make it really look like you're selling that pass. So have a go at that, George. Try and stop it quite suddenly. It might skid away from you with a wet surface, but have a go. Yeah, that's lovely. Good. Do a few on your less favourite side. Now, can you do it so it looks like you're going to play to me and then you're going to move away? So you look like you're going to play a pass to me and then you're going to take the ball away, dribble it away. Yeah, lovely. Really good. Really good. Go the other direction. So look like you're going to play one to me on your left side and then you're going to go that way. So go. Lovely, lovely. Such a good little futsal skill. You'll see that loads in professional futsal. Really, really effective. Practice, practice, practice. You've got to practice really selling that pass and then exploding away. This one a little bit harder. Hang on a second, George. Just about change of direction again and selling that move. George is going to show us this slowly and then we'll take you through it. We've not done this one at futsal yet, so we'll take our time with it a little bit. George is going to put his foot on the ball as if he's coming towards me. Roll, stop it against his foot, and then he's going to go back the other way. Excellent demonstration, George. Well done. So it's all about selling as if he's dribbling towards me, and then he's going to plant that foot down to stop the ball and go back the other way. Let's see if we can do it a tiny bit quicker, and we'll have a few goes, George. Drag and then take it away. Really nice, really nice. You have to do this really slowly just to get used to that movement. Once you drag, your foot comes over and stops the ball. Have another couple of goes, George. Really good. Whoa, it's definitely sold that. Lovely to see that right shoulder coming down. Love that, the drop of the shoulder, come down and then push away, coming back the other way. Have another go. Lovely. Lovely little sharp movement of the ball. Get away. Good, thank you, George. Very, very difficult to do this on your less favourite side, but you do have to practice. Have a go, George. It'll be probably hard, but slow it down. It's all right. Have another go. Slow down the movement on the ball. Just get used to your body doing it. Very good. There you go. And then you can quicken up as you get more comfortable. As George feels, there you go. That's beautiful. As with all these things, when you're on your own, the key thing is to practice. It's so funny. I said this before, but even when we're in the garden on our own, we get self-conscious, and we shouldn't. So George, when he's on his own, should be practicing on this side because it's the one that he finds really hard. There's no one watching. There's nothing to be, well, you should be trying it at futsal because we're never going to have a go at you and no one's going to criticise you. We want you to try the things that are really difficult. It's going to make such a difference to your game if you keep practicing those things that are difficult, and that means going on your less favourite side all of the time. Really good stuff, George. Well done. Okay, so we have done the scoop and we started doing it in our last session. George, just show us. It's really difficult to explain. I think the best way is George puts his hand on the floor next to the ball. Now, what George is not going to do is ram his fingers under the ball, break his fingers, and he's not going to lift the ball doing that. It will barely come off the floor. So what would George need to do to lift the ball? He's got to put his fingers slowly under the ball, curl them, and then lift the ball up. Not going to hurt his fingers, and he gets a lovely little bit of lift on that ball. We actually need to do the same thing with our toes. It took me ages as a kid to get used to this. Slowly lift, and your toes are going to do that same thing. So let's see what it looks like with your feet. Because if George just rams his foot under the ball, show us what that looks like. He doesn't get much of a lift. You're going to hurt your toes. Let's see what it looks like. And you won't get that same amount of control. The beautiful thing, the same with your fingers, is when you slowly lift with those toes. Show us, George. Oh, lovely. You're much more in control as how much lift you get. And in futsal, most of the time, we'll work on lift passes the more we go through the sessions, actually, this term. But all you really want to do is, if I get a foot there, is just lift it away from that outstretched leg. Beautiful. It's such a good way of beating your player. I absolutely love doing this, even out of futsal. I'm in a tight spot and we're playing out on grass. You guys are playing on your Saturdays, Sundays. It's such a good way of evading those tackles. It's so difficult for defenders. Even when you're squeezing between two defenders, you can lift the ball. So all you want is that little bit of elevation. We've got these little cones here. It only needs to go that high to get away from your defender. And George can lift. Beautiful. And he's away. That's perfect amount. If you scoop it too much, the ball's in the air, gives the defender a chance to recover. Yeah, that's not going to work. Looks lovely. And it might work for a longer pass, which again will work on this term. But actually all he wants to do is lift and get away. So show us lift and get away, and maybe get a shot off this time, George, if I come around. Lovely lift. And a great strike. Super. Thank you, George. There are two things, I think. Well, this one being number one, actually. When we're doing our futsal, your first touch needs to enable your second touch. And all that means is, if I hit the ball at George, and he's going to control the ball, okay? Now, I remember getting taught as a kid to control the ball by stopping it dead, and that's not what we want to do. I'm going to show you what I mean. George, I'm going to hit the ball to George. George now cannot do anything. The ball is stuck underneath him, so he's got to now move it in order to dribble, shoot, pass. So George, let's have another go. That's a position we don't want to get in. And yes, we do want you to use the bottom of your feet, but I'll show you what futsal players do every time when they control the ball. They stop the ball, but it's one continuous movement. They then move it so they can do everything that they want to, or anything that they want to do with their second touch. If I hit you, George, there, he just used the bottom of his foot to roll the ball away. And that meant that George can now shoot, pass, dribble, but all three of those should be an option for you. We've spent loads of time, so if I get George to do it on his attack foot, so you're going to go that way on your attack foot. Lovely. That isn't always going to be an option. It's what we want you to try and do if you can, is to open your body. It's what we spent a whole term doing, getting you to move on your attack foot. It might not always be an option. So it may be that you need to turn it a different direction. But what we've got to make sure we do is we don't get the ball stuck under us. Show us what that looks like, George. He's got, yeah, really difficult now for George to move out of that position. Unless he can do the futsal roll in one movement and get himself away. But let's just try a few different versions of George. Just first of all, try at the bottom of the foot, move away, futsal style. Lovely. And then he can play. And you can take that into a movement, you can hit it. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to hit it to you. Shift. And then you can shoot, pass, do whatever you want to do. Lovely. What are the other versions of this? So I'm going to hit it to you, try and use a different part of your foot to enable you to have that second touch. There you go, outside of the foot. Can we go the other way? Good, a little bit stuck under you. Let's get that one out of your feet. The key thing, George, come here a minute. So if we go back to our cones, George is on the spot. You actually want that, he doesn't want that ball stuck right underneath him. He needs that first touch to get him out of the cone. So I'm going to pass you the ball, George. And you just want that first touch to take you away. Lovely. And out and ready to play. So on the move, ready to play with the option to dribble, pass or shoot. Lovely, lovely little shift. It's so simple, this. But I would say it's the number one area where we're getting a bit stuck in our futsal. So simple, but just constantly work on it. My first touch is what allows, it's almost like an assist for your second touch. Allows you to do anything you want to with your second. Dribble, pass, shoot. One more, George. Lovely. Good. Just practice it relentlessly. Thank you, George.